Okay, my conspiracy theory about the time looping thing is getting bigger because I was watching through like a little bit of I like skipped through to make sure like the audio is okay. I got to the point where he said Valkii would never get into bed with me. He doesn't call her by her name. He's like, Your Grace, my lady. He's never called her by her name, right? Right? Has he? I don't think he has. I feel like I would have noticed that. Or maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. We'll see if he does it, but I'm pretty sure he always calls her Your Grace. Early on when she wasn't of that, you know, stature, he didn't. He said, you like called her my lady or whatever. Today's the day. My stomach is a bundle of nerves, but I can't let it show. Not today. Veritas, as usual, barely acknowledges my presence in the room. I expect you to follow your embroidery lessons while I'm gone, he declares, his tone carrying a hint of authority as he finishes his meal. I did run out of the lessons yesterday. Of course, I reply, forcing a smile that I hope appears genuine. When will you return? I ask, my mind calculating the time I have before Veritas could grow suspicious of my absence in the manor. After staying the night at Kotov's residence, I'll return late in the morning, he answers me. Where's his brother Dimitri? Dimitri just does not appear on any other route, which confuses me. Does Celiana not want to tarnish anything to do with Dimitri, so she's just left him in his own little route? Because I think he was mentioned in James's route because Alex makes a lot of appearances. He was the invisible guy, I think. Again, I played James's route over a year ago now, which is crazy to think about, by the way, because it genuinely feels like the other day. But Dimitri just never appears. Kane has appeared, Neil has appeared, and Dimitri is part of like the OG 3. Like, those were the OG 3 that I played. I played through Neil, Kane, and Dimitri on another channel that I have that I never made public. I never made those videos public. They were like for an X. I used to make videos for an X. And so Dimitri's just never appeared, and I don't know why. Okay, good. It means he's out all night, and EEYOK and I will have time to ransack the Baron's place. Perhaps ransack is not the word I should be using. Veritas shifts the topic. I take it you've been informed of the masquerade ball I'm holding next month. Or maybe... I know I'm going on tangents. I'm sorry. This is just me. You kind of have to just get used to it. Maybe it's because Neil is so easy to make a bad guy because he wasn't exactly a good guy on his route for a long time. He was like that mean guy. And Kane, I think, was quite popular. Which I get, but he's not my type of guy. I still liked his route, don't get me wrong. Neil's was definitely the weakest, though, in my opinion. I think Dimitri is probably not a favorite necessarily because he's submissive. He was the first, like, submissive love interest. And he's just a very soft guy, you know? Not everyone loves the soft guys, which I do. I like them. Much more than, like, the James types or the Grey types. Again, James was okay. James was way better than I thought he was going to be. I mean, he was a complete dick, but, you know, that's fine, I guess. I didn't like him for a while, but the character development is always good. I don't know. I want Dimitri to show up as different characters, because I like thinking of these other routes as, like, alternate universes where they still exist. They all still exist. James probably still exists somewhere in this world. They all do. I wouldn't mind if Grey didn't exist anywhere. Sorry, he's my least favorite. I hated him. I didn't hate him. Well, I kind of did. Whatever. Veritas shifts the topic. I take it you've been informed of the masquerade ball I'm holding next month. Oh yes, Mandy told me, I reply. Even with masks, I don't want you to embarrass my name, especially since the Prince of Grindalia is attending. You will be on your best behavior. He won't even bother to spare me a glance during the ball, let alone dance with me. Will there be dancing? I ask, knowing full well there will be. Of course, it is a ball, he huffs, annoyed. Will you dance with me? I ask callously. There's a moment of silence. He appears disturbed by the question, perhaps not expecting me to show interest. I do not dance, he states firmly. I blatant lie. I've seen him dance with Chelsea and other noble ladies while I remained a mere spectator. Would you mind if I dance with others? I ask instead. If there's anyone willing to take your hand, which frankly I'm doubting with your current manners, then you will not reject them. You must accept, he instructs, his words laced with arrogance. No one will ask me. That's the issue here. Even with the flimsy mask, everyone knows who is who. I must somehow broadcast it to the world that I'm the gatekeeper with my distinctive brown eyes and black hair. Oh yeah, very distinctive. So we do just have brown eyes and black hair. We don't get to choose our appearance really in this one, apart from our skin tone, I assume. I'll make sure I'll have a dance partner this time around. I'm gonna ask EEYOK. Speaking of, I need to talk to him about today, as well as check up on the kittens. Gathering any spare scraps of food, I head off to the stables. Bye, Veritas. I enter the stuffy cabin, greeted by tiny little Mews. The trio is energetically exploring, while their mother remains cautious, tucked away in a corner within a bucket. Good morning, I greet EEYOK, who is sitting at his table, looking slightly fatigued. It depends how old the mum is. If she's quite old, she's not gonna become unferal, really. There's a very unlikely chance of her becoming unferal. It gets a lot harder the older a cat gets. The kittens will be fine. Like, you can make them unferal very, very quickly. But yeah, it depends how old the mum is. But I assume if the mum has a stray, she's probably quite young. How'd it go with the kittens? Did they keep you up all night? I ask. That's an understatement, EEYOK grumbles honestly. They are extremely inquisitive and have the energy of 1,000 suns. I wince at the vivid description. Surely they must go to sleep at some point, right? I ask, recalling seeing them peacefully asleep together. Oh, they sleep all right where they're standing. For a few minutes, it's quiet, and then they come back to life and resume their rebellion. Rebellion? I echo. They're only little kittens. Devils in disguise, EEYOK mumbles, eyeing one of the kittens as its nails gets caught in a shirt hanging on a chair. I bend down to help free it from the fabric and pet it. The kitten continues its exploration unperturbed. It seems they're doing well. Well, I hope you have enough energy for tonight, I begin, standing up straight. Don't worry, Your Grace. I am fully prepared, he notes. I have another destination to go today, before we leave for the Baron's mansion, I tell him. EEYOK glances at me, waiting for me to continue telling him what today's plans are. I got a message from Anderson's tailor shop. What I requested is finished. I'd like to visit and retrieve the item. We can go right away if you'd like. I just need to... EEYOK stops talking and rushes to the other side of the room to remove a kitten from one of the high shelves. I hadn't even noticed they were up there. EEYOK gently releases it on the bed. I need to ready the carriage, he finishes with a sigh. You're a good cat, Dad, I say, grinning at him. EEYOK does not seem to appreciate my compliment and simply gives me a grumpy look in return. Truly, most people would have simply left them to fend for themselves. I'm taking care of them because you asked me to, he answers. And you're doing a great job, I gush. EEYOK exasperatedly runs a hand through his hair. And don't call me Cat Dad, he sighs. Cat Daddy? I suggest. What? No, he sputters, embarrassed. Just a caretaker. All right, caretaker of kittens, I say with a giggle. They're a menace, he says, grumbling. Yes, but I think you like them, I tease him. EEYOK narrows his eyes at me. You wouldn't be sleeping with them otherwise, I point out. The mention of him sleeping with the kittens hangs in the air, creating a brief tension as we're both reminded that I slept in his bed too. I still don't know what came over me yesterday. I placed the basket of food scraps on the table, ready to leave. Ready the carriage in half an hour, all right? EEYOK closes his eyes and bows in front of me. Yes, Your Grace. See? Your Grace. He called her Valkii. I gracefully pick up my skirt and leave the cabin. The carriage jostles as it rides along the cobblestone roads in the city. I stare at Mandy in front of me, who insisted she come along as a chaperone. A lady always needs one, she insists. Hopefully I can come up with a good excuse for my extended absence. Speaking of, I need to think about my actions carefully here. If we're breaking into the house, I will likely have to maneuver myself into tight-fitting spaces, which is impossible to do with any of my current garb. It's simply too restricting and, for lack of a better word, poofy. I am in need of something simple and less restricting. Perhaps I can even disguise myself as a man. I'm sure wearing pants would work out a lot better than some long skirt that gets stuck on everything. That's not a bad idea now that I think of it. And we're going to a tailor shop right this instant. Entering the store, I can feel the musky mildew scent fill up my nostrils. Seems they still haven't gotten that mold issue under control, but at the same time, I've missed it. Oh yeah, you're gonna get ill as fuck. I wave at a few old co-workers before Kim approaches me. Valkii, she gushes when she sees me. Oh, I mean, Your Grace, she corrects herself, leaning close to her with a smile. It's okay, you can still call me Valkii. Your Grace is too stuffy, I admit. Kim giggles earnestly. We've got your design finished, she announces and leads me to the back of the store. She takes out a nicely decorated box and pulls out the white linen camise, I've already forgotten how to say it, from it. It's long enough to allow a baby to sleep in it and thrash about without hindrance. I touch it with my hands to inspect the tailoring. So far, so good. Looks impeccably made. No doubt Kim put her all into this. It's marvelous, I compliment her. How long did it take you to finish? Kim takes a bit to think about it, resting her hand on her hip. I did it in my free time every now and then, but I would wager about 15 hours. I can do it faster, though. And the cost? I ask. The linen is quite cheap and doesn't require any dye or fancy patterns, so that saves a lot, she mentions. But then there's the lace at the bottom, which is the most expensive part. She points at the hem with a delicate lace pattern. Yes, lace has always been expensive since it's done by hand, but the noble women love it and it would be quite popular. Since it's a children's chemise, wasn't that spelled... Oh, yeah. Can you say it both ways? Whatever. Can you tell me how to say it?
Chemise.
Chemise. Whatever. Since it's a children's chemise, there's not a whole lot of fabric to use, so it ends up being 60 cents per piece. Is that a lot? 60 cents per piece, that's pure material cost alone. I'm gonna have to invest to start producing these for the noble women. Is that a lot then, back in the day? I guess it was. Ideally, I'd make these chemises in my own shop. Why does she keep, like, is it chemises when you put the S on the end? And then it's E without it? I'm confused by that word. Again, I've mentioned this before, I think in the James route, where this word came up before. I don't say this word ever. I don't think I've ever said it before the James route, so it's not in my vocabulary. So I don't know this, but I'd love to know. However, I don't own a tailoring business and I lack the funds to acquire one. If I opt for Andersons to handle production, they'll take a significant chunk of my profit. This would make it challenging to build up enough savings to break free from Veritas within a year. I'm going to have to approach someone who's going to invest. Who will you be giving this to? Kim asks out of interest. Shaken out of my thoughts, I turn to her. Oh, I'm about to mention Chelsea's name, but then I realize she hasn't officially announced her pregnancy yet. A noble lady, I answer. She must be thrilled to receive a present from you, Kim says excitedly. I pause. No, they wouldn't. Chelsea didn't even look at my present the first time, so why would it be any different now? I didn't think this through. Chelsea won't really care about a gift from the gatekeeper. So my plan to sell these chemises... I've already forgotten how to say it. For the babies of noble women is not going to pan out if they get wind of it being made by the gatekeeper. I need an alias, perhaps even another person entirely to give the present. I shake my head. I'll have to think about this later. Right now we need to ask Kim for something else. Kim, I'm in need of some extra clothing today. Do you have anything simple lying around? Oh, sure thing. How simple are we talking? Pants? I inquire. Kim gives me an odd look, but doesn't question it. She tells me to wait while she gathers the clothes. I look around my old workplace, wondering what life would be like if Veritas never offered his hand in marriage. Fancy seeing you here, Your Grace, says a female voice. Is this Sarah? Woohoo! I look up and see... I've already forgotten how to say this. Martianus Sarah. A pleasant surprise to disrupt the monotony of my day.
Martianus.
Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I desperately need to sneeze. Good morning, Lady Sarah, I say smiling. What brings you here? I may have gotten wind of some rumors that you used to work here, she says in a hushed but playful tone. I felt like visiting myself. Also, Viscountess Vice Countess Chelsea refuses to shop here, so all the better in my book. I stifle a giggle. Chelsea does indeed refuse to shop here. Yes, this used to be my workplace. I sat right over there, hunched over in the daylight, sewing clothes. I point over at the large windows at the front. Seems awful for your back, Sarah notes, watching the people work. And legs too, I joke. Couldn't feel them anymore after a while. Goodness! Well, thankfully you seem to be out of that precarious situation. Now you can focus on a better posture. I know she means well, but I long for a simpler time, sitting in daylight, stitching fabric, complaining about my back hurting. I've been diligently attending lessons to refine my manners in all things ladylike, I share. Gotten sick of them yet? Because if you have, you can find some refuge at my place. No one will judge you there, she offers. Sarah feels like a breath of fresh air. Her current attitude towards me starkly contrasts with my scarce interactions with her in the past. I was quiet, stayed in the shadows, and didn't try socializing with anyone. In return, that meant I never saw much of Sarah either. You know what? I'll take you up on that offer, I say. A break from all the crazy things going on sounds nice. Splendid! I assume you don't want to take a horse for a ride. I shake my head, wanting to avoid horses for a while. Tea will be fine with me. Then I'll send a formal invitation this week. Make sure to spare some time, she says, smiling. Looking forward to it, I return her smile. Kim eventually returns from her search and carries some old-looking pieces of clothing. Sarah, in turn, is helped by another employee of the store. Will these suffice? Asks Kim, showing me the pieces. A bit too big, but nothing I can't fix myself. They're perfect, I say. Thank you, Kim. I'll take these. Eventually, I exit Anderson's tailor shop with the chemise, worn male clothing, and an invitation to visit Sarah Jones. We love Sarah. Yes, we do. Sending my tutors home, I snuck out of the manor and am spending my evening with EEYOK, preparing for our journey. Do you suppose we need to bring any rope with us? I inquire. Rope, Your Grace? What do you expect to do with that? I don't know, scale a wall? I shrug. Do you know how to scale a wall? I look down at my feet, shuffling on the wooden planks. No. I pout. Your Grace, perhaps it would be best if we stick to a more conventional plan. Scaling walls might not be the most graceful entry. Fine, I relent, but what if we encounter locked doors or barred windows? We will enter the palace through the servants' entrance, EEYOK explains. We'll pick the lock if we have to. What if someone catches us? I will make sure that won't happen. Yes, but what if? We need to have a plan in order. EEYOK nonchalantly shrugs. Run fast? I can't help but snort at his simplistic response. Quickly, I catch myself, my hand instinctively covering my amused expression. That wasn't very ladylike. Sorry, I thought you would say something brilliant, coming up with an elaborate backstory like we're changing the upholstery of the curtains. The curtains? Are we pretending to be employees of a curtain company? EEYOK looks incredulous. Noble people request the strangest things. This wouldn't be entirely unrealistic, I explain my reasoning. I feel that would only make us more suspicious, he says, shaking his head. No, we hide if we see anyone, and if we're spotted, we run. You understand? I sigh and nod. The plan might lack the sophistication I envisioned, but perhaps simplicity is the key to success. That doesn't mean I won't be taking with me extra scraps of fabric in case we do get caught. The Baron would likely keep the scale presented somewhere noticeable, such as a drawing or dining room. That would be our first goal to find. All right, I say, nodding. Hopefully it isn't sealed behind some glass. We'll figure it out when we see it. All you need to do is touch it, which shouldn't pose too much of an issue, he reassures me. Thanks for helping me out, Sir EEYOK, I tell him. I realize he's going above and beyond to help me out here. Get ready, we're leaving, he says. Right, let me go get changed. Changed? He sounds surprised. Yes, I figure my current attire isn't exactly the most optimal for burglarizing, so I got some new clothes to wear. It's a disguise. EEYOK cracks half a smile at that. I'll leave your grace to it. Meet me at the stables when you're ready. EEYOK grabs his cape, and after checking to see if the kittens are well provided for, he leaves the cabin. I pet the kittens for a bit before I get undressed as well. I want to see what she looks like as a boy. My feet dig into the gravel as I approach EEYOK at the stables. My clothes are too roomy and are quite big on me, but nothing that a belt couldn't fix. When I step closer to the carriage, I notice that EEYOK seems to be missing. Sir EEYOK? I call out to him. I swear I saw him a second ago. Your Grace? A voice appears from the other side of the carriage. EEYOK steps out of the shadows, lowering his head to scrutinize me. I apologize, I didn't recognize you. I thought you were one of the stable boys, so I hid, he explains. I mentally pat myself on the back. Good, that means my disguise is working, I say proudly. Yes, at a glance, you can pass as any male commoner. Are you calling me a man? I tease. Yeah? EEYOK's eyes widen before furiously shaking his head. No, Your Grace, I was merely saying you could pass as one. He stumbles over his words. Am I not feminine enough? You wound me, Sir EEYOK. I continue to tease him. EEYOK balls his hands into fists, looking embarrassed. Apologies, Your Grace. I think you always exude femininity, but it's merely being covered by the clothes temporarily. I hold my tongue this time around, not expecting such an honest and brazen answer. His unintentional flattery catches me off guard. Yes, that is the point, I murmur. Let's avoid being seen altogether in the first place, all right? EEYOK says. Agreed. Now, please head inside the carriage. It'll be at least an hour ride. But everything's so far away. Ready to leave, I climb aboard our ordinary-looking carriage, the one we use for the servants if they have to head out into town. It should be the least conspicuous one. My stomach is all riddled with nerves and bundled into a knot. I hope we can pull this off. You know, the time looping thing? Always been a big fan. If you're gonna play Amnesia, the Otome game, skip ahead. A little bit. I don't know, skip ahead like 20 seconds or something. So Ukyo in Amnesia, he's doing the time looping thing. And he's seen the main character die a lot. And this reminds me of that. But I think I am getting my hopes up too much. I do think I'm getting my hopes up too much and I should stop. Because while I think Celiana is a fan of other Otome games and probably plays other, like, Japanese Otome games, I don't know if I should just be like, this has to be what she's doing. I don't know. That was done really well, though, in my opinion, and it... if you know how it ended. And what became of him. Anyway. Parking far away from the mansion, EEYOK guides me through the shadowy alleyways until we find the concealed servants' entrance of the Baron's grand estate. No. It's dark and no light is burning inside the mansion. I doubt many servants are present now. They must have accompanied the Baron to the casino. One way to show off your wealth is by arriving with a whole entourage. We arrive at a lone wooden door at the rear, unmistakably locked. Huddled behind crates and storage equipment, EEYOK and I strategize our next move. How do we get the door open? I whispered to EEYOK. Okay, I need to take a screenshot. I've been forgetting. I used to be able to do this so easily with Steam. I really need to look if the itch.io launcher has a setting for that. Either we lockpick it or... EEYOK pauses, maintaining suspense. Miraculously, the door creaks open, revealing a maid stepping outside, oblivious to our presence. Swiftly, EEYOK stands, tossing something at the door just as the maid returns indoors. In the darkness, I can't discern what he threw. What was that? I ask, perplexed. Let's wait 5 minutes, make sure she's gone, EEYOK advises, returning to his concealed position. Time crawls as we stay silent, anxiety building. I'm clueless about EEYOK's move. Oh wait, I'm just gonna keep going back to the time loop thing because even if it's not what's happening, I want you to understand how much it makes sense. So he's like constantly attacking the dummy, right? He's constantly practicing his swordsmanship. And imagine if he's doing that because the last time he failed was because he wasn't a good enough swordsman to fight off like 3 guards. And that's what he was angry about, not losing the fight. I'm sure he was a bit angry about that too, but it wasn't about that. It was him constantly being frustrated with himself that he let her die again. I'm just saying, I know I love time loops, so I'm gonna keep talking about this. And I'm gonna firmly put my stance here now. This story would be better if if he is going through a time loop and we got caught in it the last time for whatever reason. I'm sure given time, I could come up with a reason as to why she got caught in it that time. And maybe it actually switched. I don't know. He then shifts his weight. No, that doesn't make sense because he's acting like he's the one acting like he's in a time loop. Okay. He then shifts his weight, his boots sliding across the cobblestone. Let's go, stay behind me. EEYOK moves around the crates and I follow closely. We approach the door and I can finally see what EEYOK threw before. It's a small dagger. He pries it out of the doorpost to retrieve it. He wedged the dagger between the doorpost and the door, creating a slight opening to prevent the door from latching. The door is now unlocked, allowing us entry without the need for lockpicking. Oh, that's smart, I say, impressed. Shh, he hushes me and quietly pulls the door open. Remember to stay out of sight and run when you need to. Right, I confirm. Following closely behind him, we enter the mansion in stealth. I guess he has no real choice because, like, we're so stubborn that we would do this without him, so he has to bring us. You know what I mean? Because, like, he clearly doesn't want us to do anything that will put us in danger. We've been lucky so far and haven't encountered a single soul. The hallways are dark with only a candle flickering here and there for the remaining servants. We've already cleared out 2 rooms and not encountered the scale. The Baron is most definitely a collector though, showcasing many odd objects and treasures in his drawing rooms. Now we enter what appears to be the dining room. It's completely dark and I find it hard to move around without bumping into a maze of chairs. If the dragon scale resides here, it would be perched on the mantel. EEYOK and I quickly navigate towards the end of the room. Thankfully, a sliver of moonlight illuminates our way, granting us enough vision in this dark room. There, what's that? I breathe, spotting a glimmer in the moonlit glow on the mantel. It might be a vase, a jewel. We've been fooled before. EEYOK draws open a curtain, ushering in more moonlight. I cautiously approach the mantel. There are a couple of trinkets displayed in glass cases on the mantel. Some gems, some intricate golden statues, and a large prominent glass case with a silver gem. No, not a gem. It's delicate, feather-like. Scale, I exhale in disbelief. There it is. The moonlight bounces off the scale and gives it this iridescent look. Silver from one angle, translucent pearl from another. EEYOK appears next to my side. What is with my headphones? Seriously. EEYOK appears next to my side as I reach out for the glass case. Despite the scale being no larger than a coin, the case is sizable enough to accommodate my head. Are the dragon scales really that tiny? Are dragons tiny in this world? That makes them a lot less impressive. Cute, but less impressive, I will admit. A coin is like that. So, dragons are huge. Okay. EEYOK appears next to my side as I reach out for the glass case. Despite the scale being no larger than I already read that. I pivot, placing the case on the dining table, pondering a method of access. EEYOK takes charge, deftly prying open the springs on either side. Then he lifts up the glass, revealing the scale in all its glory. What if it's a fake and it doesn't do anything when we touch it? Oh, I say relieved. I was worried it was locked. It's a real dragon scale, says EEYOK, almost amazed. Oh, you know that? If we take his word for it, that is, I note skeptically. The Baron's honesty is as elusive as his treasures. This might as well be an elaborate deception. No, it's real. See, he's a dragon! EEYOK asserts with unwavering confidence. What? How do you know? I don't know any object on Earth that shines like this, do you? He points at the scale, the murky pearl color reflecting the moonlight. I don't, but I'm not arrogant enough to say I've seen the entire world, I reply. But there's only one way to verify the authenticity of the scale and me. My hand reaches out, fingers hovering over the razor-thin scale, my nerves dancing. This is the moment of truth, the revelation of whether I am truly the gatekeeper or just a pawn in a grander game. Please let this be a genuine dragon scale. My fingers make contact, delicately lifting the scale. Moonlight dances on its surface. I inspect it between my fingers, but nothing's happening. I lift my head to look at EEYOK, feeling my expectations crushed. Even he seems confused. There's no reaction, I say dejectedly. Before EEYOK can respond, the ominous sounds of approaching footsteps pierce the silence. EEYOK acts swiftly, securing the glass case and pushing me towards the large window and shrouding us with the curtain he had opened earlier. I stand there, huddled with EEYOK behind the curtain, my heart beating in my throat. Is someone going to enter this room? Stay quiet, EEYOK whispers, his voice barely audible next to my ear. They'll likely not even enter. We stand there in silence, with only my heartbeat drumming in my ears. In my hand, the dragon scale remains. My hands feel clammy. I must be starting to sweat. No, wait. My hands aren't clammy. The scale is getting hotter. Huh? I exclaim as the scale's temperature rises. It's not just a figment of my imagination. It's getting fiery hot. The scale sparks and is suddenly ablaze with a flame. Ah! I yelp in surprise at the sudden burst of energy and flames engulfing the scale. I jump back, colliding with EEYOK, who accidentally drops the glass case, shattering it. Oh. I've let go of the scale, but there's nothing left but ashes floating around. It's burnt to a crisp. The scale, it caught fire, I explain in my confusion. EEYOK whips his head back and forth, eyeing me and the door. Shit, he curses. It reacted to me, Sir EEYOK, I say, looking at him. The scale burned. I am the true... That's why he looked disgusted. It was pain, maybe. Maybe. But then, like, how can they ever... You know... How can they ever do that? How can they ever actually touch? That adds another interesting layer, though, I'm not gonna lie. I am the true legitimate gatekeeper. We hear a flurry of footsteps approaching the dining room. Fuck. EEYOK curses again. Are you from the future? Like, did you guys use this word back then? Oh. Okay. I'll see you in the next one, where I will continue my conspiracy theories. Bye.